It's time for Brewster Whitecaps baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Welcome to Stony Brook Field. For the second time in a row, the Brewster Whitecaps will be taking on the Orleans Firebirds. I'm Maura Sheridan alongside Carter Woodeel. The third member of our team, Aiden Doyle, will be joining us shortly. Well, yesterday these two teams played, and let's just say it didn't go very well for the Whitecaps. Brewster suffering a 5-1 defeat at the hands of Orleans. A game that the Whitecaps got out to an early lead. They led 1-0 after the top of the first inning, then quickly the Firebirds responded to make it a 1-1 game, and then in the third inning everything just kind of imploded for the Whitecaps, giving up 4 runs and then unable to come back in that game. Final score 5-1. That's what it was in the third inning, and nobody scored after that. So a disappointing showing for the Whitecaps. Jamie Shevchik, talked to him after the game. He was not exactly pleased, but he did say that this 3-game skid, it needs to end. He does not want to make this 4 or 5 in a row. He says that can be a season-defining skid if you allow it to go on that long. On the other hand, though, the Orleans Firebirds, they are literally on fire. They have won 8 in a row, trying to make it 9 here at Stony Brook Field.
Yeah, you talk about season-defining streaks, Maura. I'm sure Orleans is going through one right now. And Kelly Nicholson was talking about, it becomes even more impressive when you think about how this team that's won 8 in a row and has looked dominant doing it started the season 0-4. Now, if you talk to Kelly Nicholson, the manager, he'll tell you, well, we weren't getting the big hits. I don't think we were playing poorly those first few games of the season. But it's still impressive to see how they've been able to put that streak together. And last night, one of the big reasons why that streak is here showed itself in that game over at Eldridge Park. Orleans has a great, deep bullpen, something that perhaps may be the envy of Jamie Shevchik, who's kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel trying to get guys going for bullpen arms. It's just a lot of innings that need to be covered when the starting pitcher goes out. And Orleans has done a terrific job putting up zeros out of the pen. So for Brewster, the goal probably is to try and get to the starter before that bullpen tries and comes in.
One of the big things that Jamie Shevchik said yesterday is that their starters haven't been able to go longer than 3-4 innings. He usually puts the goal as 5 to 6, and recently in some recent losses, that has not been the case. It's been early 4th inning that a lot of these starting pitchers have come out for the Whitecaps, so he wants that to change. And starting on the mound for the Whitecaps today is a guy that has gone 5 innings twice this year. That's Connor Higgins. He's had 3 starts so far for Brewster. His most recent one was not exactly what his other 2 were. It was at Bourne, and he gave up 5 runs, but only 3 earned runs. That was kind of one of those games where a lot of the looming issues for the Whitecaps was exposed. 2 unearned runs by the Whitecaps.
Yeah, Jamie Shevchik, he's talked to you more, and he's talked to us about the way that unearned runs can impact this club. He never wants to wind up losing a game, wind up, as you said, more giving a pitcher a stat line that he feels should not have happened. That's something that he's going to look for, and part of that, it seems, is getting more consistent defense in the lineup. We'll get to Brewster's lineup in a second, but a little spoiler alert, Nick Dunn is in there, and he's going to be playing second base, and from what he was talking, just what he was saying, I remember in that interview after the game, Maura, is this is the sort of guy we need to steady your hand in the infield.
So Connor Higgins is 1-1 on the year. He only has allowed 4 earned runs and then 7 runs total. And he struck out 13. This will be his 3rd start for the Whitecaps. And then on the other side for Orleans, Daniel Lynch will be the starter for the Firebirds. He's pitched 9 2/3 innings, allowed just 9 hits. His ERA is 2.79. And he started 2 games and won both of them, got the win in both of those games. And in talking to the broadcasters before, he's a very solid pitcher. He has a fastball, slider, and a changeup. He kind of sticks to those 3 pitches. And his fastball's in the low 90s, very typical of what we see for a lot of Cape pitchers around here.
Yeah, it is sort of typical, Maura. You're right to say that. And one of the things that also kind of comes with that sort of package is command is important for him. It's a big reason why he's been able to put up the numbers that you were talking about so far this season. If you've got a good slider that can drop off, it's not anything if you're not able to set it up with a halfway decent fastball. And so Daniel Lynch has been able so far to be able to throw strike one, get ahead in counts, and then dictate to hitters what he wants to do.
In Lynch's last appearance against Cotuit, he went 5 scoreless innings for himself. So this should be a good pitching duel, but let's get you started on the starting lineups. We'll start with the Orleans Firebirds. Jimmy Herron will lead off for them. We saw him yesterday lead off, had a couple of hits and he'll be in center field for the Firebirds. Batting in the 2 spot, Lars Nupar, the left fielder today, a USC Trojan. And then followed by Nico Decolati, the designated hitter today. Batting in the 4 spot, Steve Passatempo, playing first base today. In cleanup, Kevin Stroshine, the right fielder for the Firebirds today. Then Romy Gonzalez batting 6th. He will also be playing second base. Followed by Jax Groshans, the third baseman. He'll be batting in the 7th spot. Batting 8th, Austin Hale. He'll be behind the plate as a catcher as well. And finally, rounding out the lineup for the Orleans Firebirds is Jeff Hope, the shortstop for Orleans. So this is a group of guys that a bunch of them we saw yesterday, and a lot of the guys that had big hits for this Orleans team back in the lineup. So what can we expect today?
Well, one guy I'm looking at is Jimmy Herron. You mentioned, David, he had yesterday at the top of the order, had 2 singles, 2 runs scored, and 2 stolen bases. That's the line that will make any leadoff hitter proud. And Orleans, this is a team, when we saw it last night, they're not exactly going to overpower you. They're just going to keep stringing hits together and putting big innings on the board. That's something to watch with this Orleans club. It's one of the reasons why they're on this winning streak. They've been able to put up crooked numbers pretty consistently as an offense.
As you mentioned, a pair of stolen bases for Herron, and Justin Coons will be behind the plate for the Whitecaps, so perhaps that's a move made on purpose by Coach Jamie Shevchuk. Coons, one of the best defensive catcher, arguably, on this Brewster Whitecaps team. And now let's take a listen to our Brewster Whitecaps starting lineup.
Kyle Datris, infield, University of North Carolina.
AJ Graffinino, shortstop for the University of Washington.
Mickey Gasper, Bryant University.
Hey, I'm Marty Casas, outfielder, University of Maryland.
Chandler Taylor, University of Alabama, outfielder.
Julian Infante, infield, Vanderbilt.
Nick Dunn, second base, Maryland University.
Justin Coons, catcher, Gardner-Webb University.
Hunter Bishop, outfielder, Arizona State.
Connor Higgins, left-handed pitcher, Ball So Hard University, Arizona State.
Well, the name that kind of stands out there is Julian Infante. He's getting his first start today in a Whitecaps uniform, and our own Aiden Doyle has more.
Thanks, Maura. Well, Julian Infante, the Vanderbilt Commodore, has not been in a real baseball game since June 10th when his Commodores fell to the Oregon State Beavers in the NCAA Super Regionals. And when I talked to Coach Shevchuk about what he expects from Infante today, he was really focusing more on his defense, trying to solidify that first base spot for the Whitecaps and be more of a veteran presence, obviously being a second-year Whitecap. He said if he hits a home run or creates some offensive fireworks, great, but he expects him to be a little bit rusty up there at the plate.
Thanks, Aiden. And we'll take a quick break for the national anthem, and when we come back, we'll have some baseball for you. Stick with us. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddiel and Maura Sheridan.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field, just moments away from this Orleans-Brewster matchup. The second matchup in 2 days between these two East Division rivals. Connor Higgins getting in some warm-up pitches for his team. And as we were, before the national anthem, we were talking about Julian Infante. We can see him also warming up there at first. And I know there's been a lot of hype about him because a bit of a delayed start for Julian Infante, as Aiden mentioned. He wasn't going to come until after the home run derby, in which he made it to the second round, I believe. He made it past one round in the top 4 and then obviously ended up falling. Chandler Taylor, though, he just 1 run short of winning the home run derby. He is also out there today in right field for the Whitecaps.
Yes, and I'm sure both of these guys feel very at home in those respective positions you mentioned, Maura. A lot of that hype you're talking about was coming from Jamie Shepchick himself. He is very much looking forward to locking up this first base position, which so far this year has kind of been a revolving door for Brewster. There's been some defensive miscues on the right side of the infield for the Whitecaps, and I think from what he's saying, he wants to see Dunn at second and Infante in first for the foreseeable future, of course, barring any setbacks or changes, which it's baseball are probably going to happen.
And here comes Jimmy Herron, the leadoff man for Orleans. He's digging in for the Firebirds, waiting for the first pitch from Connor Higgins, and not a lot of hesitation from Higgins, and it is hit right to Hunter Bishop in center field, and he'll make a grab. 1 pitch to Herron, and he's gone. 1 out here in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, I'm sure Jimmy Herron is okay with the contact that he made there, just right out to straightaway center.
And here comes Lars Newtbar. As we've talked about many times, Connor Higgins is very quick on the mound. Shaking off a couple of calls from Coons, and then the pitch is high for ball 1. 1-0 count to the number 2 hitter for the Firebirds. Newtbar, a USC Trojan. Kind of a legacy there. The 1-0. Swung on and hit right to us. Little jump from me there. Always forget there's a fence in front of us.
Yeah, you weren't alone. We're still learning our reflexes here.
Newtbar, as I mentioned, his brother was also a Trojan just 4 years before him, so they missed each other by a year. And his grandma and grandpa both went to USC. Second pitch in for strike number 1 to Newtbar. So it's a 1-2 count to the number 2 hitter. Newtbar getting all set up. And here comes the 1-2. That one is hit high into right center. Hunter Bishop moving, and that one will drop in. Newtbar making it all the way to second. He's going to go for 3, and it looks like he'll get there no problem. Lars Newtbar gets the first hit and makes it all the way to third base. So now a runner 90 feet away from scoring here in the top of the first inning with 1 out for the Orleans Firebirds.
Yeah, terrific job. That's the first triple by just the first triple by any Orleans Firebird not named Brandon Riley this season. That was tough for Hunter Bishop out there. It looked like he was playing toward the left center field part of center and then had to go all the way over to right center to get to that baseball. Didn't make it there in time.
Here comes Nico Delcati, the number 3 hitter today for the Firebirds. Batting from the right side. He will be designated hitter for Orleans. Again, Newtbar now on third base for the Firebirds. It's a 1-1 count to Decalati, and he'll swing and miss on the 1-1 pitch or strike number 2. So Connor Higgins ahead in the count with a 1-2. Higgins getting set, uncharacteristically taking his time out there.
Yeah, it seems like he's shaking off a bunch of pitches from Justin Coons behind the plate. As soon as he gets the sign, he moves as quickly as we've expected of him.
Higgins staring in, finally nods for a pitch, and here comes the 1-2. That one low in the dirt for ball 2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to Nico Decalati. Decalati having a great season so far, batting .387. And he'll foul this next pitch off right towards his own team in the dugout on the right side for the Firebirds. This is Orleans' first trip to Stony Brook Field. The Whitecaps have been to Eldred Park twice this year. The 2-2 swung on and hit right to Kyle Datris at third, and he'll throw it over to Julian Infante at first, but Lars Newbar will score and put the Firebirds on the board. So Orleans up 1-0 on the Whitecaps here in the top of the first inning with 2 outs.
Yeah, it looked like Datris thought for a minute about throwing that ball home, but Newbar able to get a good jump on it, wanted to get the sure play, so Orleans scoring first.
Steve Passatempo now in the batter's box for Orleans. Nobody on for him as Lars Newbar just came home. Second pitch to Passatempo is fouled off, so it's a 1-1 count to the number 4 hitter for the Firebirds. Plays for UMass Lowell, one of the Riverhawks. Batting from the right side today. Here's the 1-1. Swung on and hit to Datris again, but he'll bobble it, and then Graffinino tried to get it, kind of hit off Datris's chest, and so Passatempo will get to first no problem. Gotta imagine that's going to be an E5 there.
It is indeed an E5, and that just ate him up. A tough hop, it looks like, for Datris at third, and then off the heel of the glove, Graffinino tried to get it with the bare hand, and then he bobbled it as well.
So a runner on first here for Kevin Stroheim. First pitch to him is a high ball for 1 ball and no strikes to the cleanup hitter for Orleans. The 1-0 is hit high. Nick Dunn is moving back, and he'll make the grab for out number 3. Lars Newbar will come home off of a Nico Decolati sacrifice hit. And so the Orleans Firebirds get out to an early 1-0 lead here in the top of the first inning. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan.
Kyle Datris, AJ Graffinino, and Mickey Gasper all due up for the Brewster Whitecaps here in the bottom of the first inning. The Whitecaps are down early here. Orleans is up 1-0 as Kyle Datris digs in. We'll see the first pitch from Daniel Lynch of the Firebirds. As I mentioned, he's already 2-0 on the year in 2 appearances. Has a 2.79 ERA. And the first pitch from Lynch is low at the knees, but in for a strike for Kyle Datris to go behind in the count 0-1. Here's the 0-1, swung on and missed from Datris, so an 0-2 count to the UNC Tar Heel early, whose coach I'm told is here today, as there is 4 Tar Heels on Orleans and 2 on Brewster, Datris being 1 on Brewster, and Gehagen another, not in the lineup today, but he was playing first yesterday. And a low pitch to Kyle Datris, hits in the corner for strikeout number 1 for Daniel Lynch to start out his debut at Stony Brook Field.
Yeah, it looked like he was in control in that bat. We were talking about it in the pregame more about how important command is to Daniel Lynch. He's a guy who's really relaxed and loose on the mound, but he's able to really hit his spots. That's really what's been driving his early success so far on the Cape.
AJ Graffinino batting in the 2 spot today, takes the first pitch for strike number 1. So nothing but strikes here from Daniel Lynch to start out this game. 0-1. That one's low and misses outside for ball 1. So the count evens at 1 to the Washington Husky, playing shortstop for the Whitecaps today, as always. The 1-1. Swung on and looks like it was tipped by Graffinino there. Just fouled it off right in front of him. Might got a piece of his hand even when he fouled it. So it's a 1-2 count. Graffinino yesterday hit some hard balls, but seemed like they were right to infielders. Just couldn't get him over the head. The 1-2 is delivered in there for a ball, so it's a 2-2 count to AJ Graffinino. Lynch with the 2-2. And that one is chopped up to first. Lynch will cover first, and it looks like he'll get there right in time. So Graffinino is out, and that's 2 up, 2 down for Daniel Lynch, and here comes Mickey Gasper for the Whitecaps with 2 outs.
Good job by Lynch to scamper over and cover. Sometimes it can be tough for a lefty pitcher to get over there as quickly as he needed to there. But the first baseman past the tempo, able to make the flip, and Lynch able to win the foot race against a very speedy AJ Graffinino.
Mickey Gasper digging in for the Whitecaps. First pitch to him is taken for strike number 1. A nice breaking ball there from Daniel Lynch. The 0-1 on its way, and that one's low and misses as it hits the dirt, so it's a 1-1 count to Mickey Gasper. The 1-1. Another breaking ball in there for strike 2 to today's designated hitter. Gasper was catching yesterday for the Whitecaps. The 1-2. That one is low and in the dirt. Mickey Gasper doesn't swing at that, so it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Bryant University hitter. And that one is hit right to third base. Grosjean's able to get it over to first. Passatempo will tag out Mickey Gasper, and it's a 1-2-3 inning to start out his debut at Stony Brook Field. So the Orleans Firebirds lead the Brewster Whitecaps 1-0 here after 1 inning of play. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan.
Romy Gonzalez, Jax Groshans, and Austin Hale all due up for the Firebirds in this top of the 2nd inning. Orleans up 1-0 on Brewster here. And the first pitch to Gonzalez is swung on and missed for strike number 1 from Connor Higgins. Lars Newbar, the number 2 hitter, had a triple as the 0-1 misses upstairs to make it a 1-1 count. Newbar had a triple in the first inning and then was driven home by Nico Decolati's ground out to third as the 1-1 is swung on and fouled right to the bat boys of the Brewster Whitecaps for a 1-2 count to Gonzalez. There was also an error in that inning from Kyle Datris. The 1-2 is hit right to A.J. Graffinino, no problem there. So that's out number 1. Romy Gonzalez goes down here in the top of the second inning.
Talked about how Graffinino hit the baseball hard with no luck last night. Maybe what goes around comes around right there. Didn't have him to move a muscle to snag that line drive.
Jax Groshans now enters the batter's box for Orleans. He's a Kansas Jayhawk, teammates with Devin Foyle of the Brewster Whitecaps. Not in the lineup today, but he's always good for a pinch running spot. We've seen him in there a couple times. First pitch to Groshans is high, and he has to duck out of the way. Saw some chin music, as you would say, Carter, there, so it's 1 ball and no strikes to Jax Groshans. And the second pitch is hit out to center field, popped up, and Hunter Bishop has to move to his right just a little, but he'll make the grab, no problem. So that's 2 up, 2 down for Connor Higgins to start out this second inning.
Yeah, that's the third line drive to center field we've seen so far in this ball game. The triple from Newbar went out there, and then Heron's liner to lead off the game to center, and then right there from Groshans. So an early workout for Hunter Bishop, and perhaps an early sign that the Firebirds are keyed into Higgins here.
Here comes Austin Hale. First pitch to him is low for strike number 1. It's an 0-1 count. And the 0-1 is in for strike number 2. Fastball there from Connor Higgins. Puts him ahead in the count. No balls, 2 strikes. And nobody on here in the second inning. And he'll get him looking. A breaking ball there from Connor Higgins. Freezes up Austin Hale. So 1, 2, 3 goes Connor Higgins in this inning. And the score is still 1-0. The Orleans Firebirds up on the Brewster Whitecaps. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on here. Stay with us. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists, who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com, or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan.
4, 5, and 6 all set to bat in this inning for the Brewster Whitecaps. Marty Costas will start things off for Brewster. First pitch to him is swung on and hit right to shortstop, and it will be thrown over to Passatempo for out number 1. Marty Costas could not beat the throw there, so 1 pitch and already 1 down for Daniel Lynch.
Good play on both ends there. We saw a nice job fielding the high chopper by Hopi, the shortstop, and then a stretch over by the first baseman, Passatempo. The throw was a little wide. able to make the play.
And here comes Chandler Taylor, the right fielder today for the Whitecaps, back to his usual position. He's usually outfield at Alabama. He has played some first base for the Whitecaps. First pitch from Lynch in there for strike number 1. As I mentioned, Chandler Taylor got back yesterday after being in Omaha for the home run derby. The 0-1 will stay fair over to first. Pasitempa makes the grab and is able to beat out Chandler Taylor for out number 2. So only 2 pitches there got Chandler Taylor out. So Lynch has only thrown 3 pitches in this inning.
That's right, and we've seen, that's I think the third good play that we've seen so far from Pasitempa, was scrambling to get that ground ball to the right side, then kind of field a wide-ish throw off the bat of Gasper in the stretch, and now the 3 unassisted. He's showing some good glove work.
And here comes Julian Infante. This is his first at-bat in a Whitecaps uniform. And he'll foul his first pitch from Daniel Lynch right in front of him. Just dropping the dirt at home plate for an 0-1 count to the Vanderbilt Commodore. As I talked about Chandler Taylor being in the home run derby, so was Julian Infante. Not as much success as Chandler Taylor, but did hit 17 out in Omaha. The 0-1 is low and outside on the left corner for ball number 1.
Yeah, Infante, it's sort of like Daka Hagan when you're talking about guys, because obviously a returner coming in from this past season for Brewster, and Jamie Shevchik is talking about needing a little bit more continuity and chemistry in the dugout.
The 1-1 bounces in front of catcher Austin Hale for 2 balls and 1 strike to Infante. Nobody on here for the Whitecaps. They're trying to fight their way back. They're down just 1-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Daniel Lynch, though, has only faced 5 batters and gotten every single one out one way or another. Just 1 strikeout of Kyle Datris as Infante fouls out the 2-1 pitch on the right side to even the count at 2. The 2-2 is hit to Hotby at short, thrown over to first, and that will also beat out Infante. So 6 up, 6 down for Daniel Lynch. No hits, no runs, no errors, and nobody left on for the Whitecaps. After 2 innings of play, the Orleans Firebirds are still on top 1-0 over the Brewster Whitecaps. Stay with us. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddiel and Maura Sheridan.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field, where the Orleans Firebirds are on top of the home team. Brewster Whitecaps 1-0. Here comes Jeff Hopey, the shortstop. First pitch to him is outside for ball 1. We just saw Hopey make a couple of plays over at short to make a quick second inning for the Whitecaps. Second pitch from Higgins is just below the knees for ball number 2. The 2-0 swung on and fouled on the third base side. That one high and into the trees. So it's a 2-1 count to the Orleans shortstop. Hopeby a long ways from home a Cali guy. Here comes the 2-1. That one fouled, this time right behind him into the fencing in front of us. So it's a 2-2 count. Hopi decides to stay in his home state, plays for San Diego University. And he started every game this year at USD. The 2-2 is low. No swing there, and a nice take from Hopi to make this count 3-2. The payoff pitch. Swung on and hit high. Looks like it's going to be Kyle Datris calling it off, and he'll make the grab there for out number 1. So Hopi makes some work, but Connor Higgins comes up with the win there to start off the 3rd inning. 1 out, nobody on for the Orleans Firebirds as leadoff hitter Jimmy Herron enters the batter's box.
Yeah, talking about making him work, that's something that Jamie Shevchik will certainly be keeping in his mind. We've talked about how a lot of they've just overworked is this Whitecaps bullpen. He floated the idea of having a position player pitch almost jokingly when he was talking to you yesterday.
Herron shows bunt and takes a strike from Connor Higgins to start out his at-bat. He popped up to left field in his left center in his first at-bat. He'll foul the next pitch back, so Connor Higgins gets ahead quickly to the leadoff hitter. The count's no balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, a breaking ball that doesn't quite land. Coons caught it high upstairs for ball number 1. The 1-2 is fouled high. Coons takes his mask off, but that one will go way behind the press box and over to the right about where the bathrooms are here at Stony Brook Field. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the center fielder for Orleans. He'll hit one right to AJ Graffinino, who will knock it down but won't be able to glove it. So the leadoff runner, Jimmy Herron's now at first for the Firebirds with 1 out.
And there's another error. It's going to be an E6 on Graffinino. It was a tough play, another hard hit ball. Saw him with Datris back in inning number 1. Already a pair of Whitecap errors from the left side of the infield here.
Graffinino also had an error yesterday against this Firebird squad. First pitch to Lars Newbar is in for a ball, so 1 ball and no strikes to the left fielder. Newbar had a triple in his first at-bat. The 1-0 is swung on and hit, this time to left field. Marty Costas gloves it, and it looks like Jimmy Herron will just stay at first. So still a runner on first, but 2 outs now. Here in the top of the 3rd inning for the Brewster Whitecaps. They're down 1-0 on the Orleans Firebirds. Nico Decolati up now for the Firebirds. He drove in Lars Newbar to get the scoring started, and Kyle Datris will make the play on a hit from Decolati and pass it over to get Herron running to second. So that's 3 up, 3 down again for Connor Higgins here. Or sorry, 4 up, and he'll allow just 1 hit from Lars Newbar. Just 1 runner left on for the Orleans Firebirds, and they're up 1-0 on the Brewster Whitecaps after 2.5 innings of play. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan.
Well, it's the bottom of the third inning. The Whitecaps trying to get on the board. Stony Brook Field. First pitch to Nick Dunn is taken for strike number 1. Brewster down 1-0 to the Orleans Firebirds. Dunn fouls this next pitch off on the third base side to go behind in the count 0-2. Dunn, one of the guys that Jamie Shevchik mentioned when talking to me yesterday that he wants in the lineup every day. And the second baseman will hit one to left field, but Lars Newpar will make the grab for out number 1 in the bottom of the third inning.
Nicely done by Newpar reading that baseball. The sun isn't as rough as it could be a little bit later in this game right now, but for those outfielders, it's going to start to become a pain as this game progresses. The wind is, as always, blowing out, but not very strong today.
Justin Coons now up to bat for the Whitecaps, takes the first pitch from Lynch for strike number 1. The 1 swung on and missed from the catcher for the Whitecaps. Again, the Whitecaps behind in the count, 0-2 here. 7 up, 7 down for Orleans starter Daniel Lynch. No hits allowed for him so far today. 0-2. A swing and a miss from Coons. He'll have to run to first, and they're not going to be able to secure the strikeout. Just looked like a bit of a low throw from Austin Hale to first. It didn't even come close to Passatempo's glove, so Coons is able to reach first there, and now the Whitecaps have their first runner on.
Yeah, how about that to get your first strike, your first base runner on a drop third strike? They're going to give an error on that play. Not sure if it's to the catcher Hale or Passatempo at first. We'll check up on that, but still a very strange first base runner for Brewster.
1 out, and Justin Coons now at first base as Hunter Bishop, the number 9 hitter, takes ball 1 from Lynch. The Whitecaps will take what they can get here, as that was the first guy that Lynch hadn't gotten out. 2 balls and no strikes to Hunter Bishop so far in this at-bat. The 2-0 is over the outside corner for strike number 1. So 2 balls and 1 strike now to the center fielder, who's seen a decent amount of action for the Whitecaps. And he'll whiff on the next one for his second strike in this at-bat. This is Bishop's first at-bat today. The 2-2. And swing and a miss from Hunter Bishop for a strikeout from Daniel Lynch. That's his second today. And now 2 outs for the Whitecaps, but still a runner on first. The tying run, the go-ahead run at bat here with Kyle Datris.
Yeah, that's 3 Ks because you got to add the dropped one, right, from Daniel Lynch. Kind of a strange way to calculate it, but so far he's shown excellent command of that pitch. Has yet to give up a hit here with 2 outs in the third.
Kyle Datris, one of the only bright lights in the Brewster offense yesterday, had 2 hits, 1 a single, and then 1 a triple, the only triple the Whitecaps have had so far this season. Takes the first pitch in for strike number 1. Again, Justin Coons at first. Whitecaps down 1-0 here in the bottom of the third inning. Lynch just misses outside for ball number 1. So the count's 1-1 to the leadoff hitter for the Whitecaps. The 1-1 fouled high. Hale will take off his helmet, but that one will drop above the netting. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kyle Datris. Justin Coons reached on an error. And he's the only base runner that the Whitecaps have had so far today. Just reached on a dropped strikeout. Datris himself struck out in his first at-bat. A little freeze on a breaking ball from Lynch. And Datris will hit one right to right field. And that one goes deep, but it's Stroshine that makes the grab, so Brewster doesn't get a hit. They leave a runner on. There is an error in this game from the Orleans Firebirds, but they're still up 1-0 on the Brewster Whitecaps. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan. We go to the top of the fourth inning here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster. The score is Orleans 1, Brewster 0, and it will be Passatempo, Stroshine, and Gonzalez for Orleans. The first pitch is a fastball for a strike from the ASU product Connor Higgins, who returns to the mound for his fourth inning of work for Brewster. Here comes the 0-1. It's hit on the ground softly to third base, scooped up by Datris. He throws across the diamond in time for the first out of the fourth inning as Passatempo is retired on just a couple of pitches. So Passatempo now has the reached on an error in that ground ball to his name. Now it's Kevin Stroshine's turn. Stroshine back out in right field for this ball game for Kelly Nicholson's Orleans Firebirds. Hitting from the right side, the pitch. In there for a strike on the outside corner to make the count 0-1. Stroshine is a rising junior from McDonough, Georgia. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss on a pitch that was low. Caught him golfing there, so ahead in the count here, 0-2 is Higgins, who has now kind of returned to his customary quick work. Here comes the 0-2. Breaking ball just fouled away toward the left side, and we'll do it again with the count 0-2. Stroshine hit a pop fly that was gloved in the shallow right by the second baseman Dunn his first time. The 0-2 pitch misses outside, and the count is 1-2 on the man from Tennessee Tech. Here comes the 1-2 to the righty. Hit hard on the ground, foul, left side. That one just a couple of feet away from the third base bag. Close to lacing a double there was Stroshine, but just pulled it a bit, and the count is 1-2. And here comes the pitch from Higgins. It misses low in the dirt, bouncing in front of Coons, who blocks it with his chest protector, moving toward the inside part of the plate. But the righty Stroshine in the batter's box evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and here comes the pitch. It's hit on the ground to third base. It's going to be over third and down the left field line, a fair ball. Stroshine rounding first base, scampering over to get it is Costas, and now will throw up his arms. The ball rolled out of play, so Stroshine will have to stop at second with a double. And it's a runner in scoring position with 1 out here for the Firebirds in the fourth.
Well, that one was just barely fair. You could see Kyle Datris basically give up on it until he saw the ump make the call there. And then it was too late for Datris, but that one fooled even the third baseman for the Whitecaps.
Stroshine's third double of the year, and here comes Romy Gonzalez, another right-handed hitter against the lefty Higgins, who swings and misses at a fastball that was run up above the zone. So behind him, the count 0-1 is Gonzalez. Kind of a gutsy decision there by Connor Higgins to run the fastball up to start the at-bat and risk falling behind. 0-1 pitch is hit high in the air toward the right field foul line. On the run is the right fielder Taylor, and he makes the catch, shading his eyes from the sun. He'll uncork a throw into third base and keep the runner at second, Stroheim, where he is. So a nice play from Taylor, who didn't take the best route to that baseball. Looked like he was trying to find it in the sunlight, but comes down with it, and there are 2 gone. And now it'll be up to Jax Groshans to try and double the Firebirds' lead here. It's 1-0. Orleans on top. They got their run in the first inning. Nico Decolati drove in Lars Newbar with the ground ball. Newbar was on third after tripling, and just the second hitter of this game. Groshans, another right-handed hitter against Connor Higgins, who stares in, gets the sign, and deals. Misses low. So 1 ball and no strikes on Groshans. Groshans, a rising sophomore from Magnolia, Texas. As you mentioned, Maury, he's a Jayhawk. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. In there for a strike on the outside corner. Groshans took a look back at home plate umpire Ronaldo Cockrum, but nods his head. Count is even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Higgins readies himself, runner on second, and time is called, looks like, by Groshans in the batter's box. And so Higgins will have to do this again. Higgins drafted by the Texas Rangers this year in the 35th round. He checks the runner at second and deals 1-1. It's hit hard to center field. Moving to his right is Hunter Bishop, and coming in, and he makes the catch on the run to retire the side. That one was tattooed, it looked like, by Jax Groshans, but Bishop saw it from the beginning and was able to track it down. So some more hard contact from this Firebirds lineup, but they failed to score in the top of the 4th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 runner left on second base. We're through 3.5 here at Stony Brook Field. It's 1-0 Firebirds. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about all the successes of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu. We welcome you back to Stony Brook Field. Whitecaps still looking for their first hit of the ball game. They only have 1 base runner. That was when Justin Coons reached on a dropped third strike in the previous frame. In the third, it's the 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up for Brewster: Graffinino, Gasper, and Marty Costas. And it will start off with the lefty swinging Graffinino against the lefty Daniel Lynch, who deals, and it's grounded foul right side by Graffinino. To make the count, no balls and 1 strike. Graffinino hit a slow roller to the right side his first time up. The first baseman, Passatempo, flipped over to Lynch, who was covering, to just nab him at first base. Here comes the 0-1. Off-speed pitch just grooved in there for a strike. Makes the count 0-2 on Graffinino. Lynch out of the University of Virginia. He's a Virginia native. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Misses down and away. Went to Douglas Freeman High School in Richmond, Virginia, did Daniel Lynch. Had an even 5 ERA for the Wahoos this past year, but was known as kind of a consistent presence in a team that did not have as much pitching depth as they would have liked. It was kind of regarded as UVA's Achilles heel all season. Here comes the 1-2. It's hit hard, a high chopper toward the right side, fielded over there by the second baseman Gonzalez, who throws to first for the out. Gonzalez had to leave the dirt himself to try and come down with that baseball. Wound up kind of hopping along with the ball, came down with it, and made the throw. So Graffinino is 0 for 2, and there's 1 gone in the bottom of the 4th. So now it's Mickey Gasper's turn. Gasper hit a ground ball to third his first time up. It's 1-0 Firebirds, bottom 4. Switch hitter batting right is Gasper. The pitch is hit well out to right field. Moving in is the right fielder Stroshine, and he will dive and make the catch, sliding to the ground and making the grab. Had to kind of slide on the seat of his pants by the time he came down with that baseball, but a nice play in the sun out there in right by Stroshine. So Gasper is sent down quickly, and there are 2 gone. So now Marty Costas will dig in. Costas grounded out his first time up, hitting from the right side here. He had the lone Brewster RBI in their 5-1 loss to the Firebirds yesterday. The pitch misses inside. That came via an RBI double down the right field line in the first inning. Whitecaps would take a 1-0 lead, and that would be it for their scoring. 1-0 pitch. Called strike on the outside part of the plate. Off-speed pitch there from Lynch. As we mentioned, he's primarily a fastball slider guy. Does also have a change that he'll mix in every now and then. Here comes the 1-1. It's hit hard into center field, but right toward the center fielder, Heron, who makes the catch, moving a couple of steps back, and that retires the side. Boy, we've seen a lot of hard contact get gloved in the outfield so far in this ball game, but the Whitecaps once again go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 4th. We're through 4 innings of play. It's 1-0 Orleans. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Yeah, everybody's... Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Wadeel and Maura Sheridan. Back at Stony Brook Field, Whitecaps trailing 1-0. Top of the 5th inning. The pitch to the 8-hitter Austin Hale is grounded to Graffinino at short. He fields it and throws across to first for the out. So Austin Hale, 1 pitch and 1 out here for Connor Higgins in this 5th inning. Higgins so far has worked a pretty clean game, just 2 hits allowed. Did allow 1 run that scored via a Nico Decolati ground ball. Lars Newpar was the one who scored the run. He got on 3rd via a triple. That was in the 1st inning. No scoring since then. The pitch to the righty Jeff Hopi misses low. So the count 1-0 on him. The only other hit that Higgins has allowed as he deals 1-0 is hit high in the air toward left center field. Coming in is Hunter Bishop, but it's going to drop in there for a base hit. Bishop couldn't quite get to it, so Jeff Hopi reaches with the 3rd hit against Connor Higgins in this ball game. And the Firebirds have a base runner here in the 5th. So we're back to the top of the order. 3rd time through the lineup here for Connor Higgins. This game is just whizzing by here in the top of the 5th inning, with the Firebirds ahead 1-0. Hopi on first base has yet to attempt to steal so far on the Cape. Jimmy Heron hits this one high in the air to left field. Moving to his left is Costas, and that one is off the wall in left field. Heading into 3rd base and stopping there is the base runner Hopi. Into second with the double is Jimmy Heron. And quickly now 2 runners in scoring position for Orleans. That one just missed a home run.
Absolutely, and the Whitecaps need to be careful here because they were tied up 1-1 with this same team yesterday, and then 1 inning just ended the game for the Whitecaps essentially. So this Orleans Firebirds team is prone to big innings, so Connor Higgins and the Whitecaps need to be careful with 2 runners on right now.
Whitecaps catcher Justin Coons goes out to chat with Connor Higgins on the mound and then retreats to the home plate area. Here comes Lars Newpar, hitting from the left side against the lefty Higgins. Newpar, as I mentioned, has the only run scored of the ball game. Here comes the pitch. It's hit hard right back to Higgins. He knocks it down. Looks like that might have hit his hand or wrist. He falls over and throws across, but it's a wide throw to first base. Infante collects it, and everybody will be safe. No run comes across. That one looked like it caught it toward the heel of the glove hand of Connor Higgins. Was just able to knock the baseball down. Couldn't make a throw that was accurate, and he waves off the umpire. He looks like he's going to be fine, but it is bases loaded and 1 out. It has scored an infield hit for Lars Newbar. So Newbar just takes the open base there. And now the DH, Nico Decolati, will dig in. He has that RBI ground ball in the first inning, hit into a fielder's choice to end the third. That's his day, 0 for 2. Bases loaded, 1 out. The pitch is hit hard on the ground, foul, left side. Count 0-1 on Decolati. It's 1-0 Firebirds. I mentioned at the top of the show how Orleans has kind of made a habit of stringing hits together and getting big innings in this 8-game winning streak that they're currently on. And this is a situation where they're set up for that here with the bases loaded. 0-1 pitch, another ground ball foul left side. That one more of a high chopper. Gave it a look as it was Mark Hallberg over there, the third base coach for Orleans. So it's an 0-2 count on Decolati. Decolati hailing from Loyola Marymount University, a rising junior originally from Las Vegas, Nevada. Here comes Higgins' pitch. 0-2 pitch misses up high. Breaking ball that didn't bite, and Coons will glove it. 1-2 is the count. Decolati, one of the scouting reports on him is that he has a pretty good feel for the strike zone, one that's important in a situation like this. 1-2 pitch grounded, and it's past the diving third baseman Datcherson into left field for a base hit. 1 run will score. Being held up at third base is Jimmy Herron. So it'll just be an RBI single as Casas was uncorking a throw from left field. Nice job by Mark Hallberg, the third base coach, to put the brakes on for Herron. But it's an RBI single for Decolati. He now has 6 runs driven in on the season, and it's 2-0 Firebirds here in the 5th. Jeff Hopey winds up scoring the run, and the bases remain loaded for Steve Passatempo. And the first baseman gets this one. That one grounded off of his person there. That sounded like the bat got broken, and it looks like he's going to saunter over to the dugout and get a fresh stick. In any case, the count is 0-1. This is very similar to what we saw. You were talking about last night in New Orleans, Mara. It was the third inning that was the big one for the Firebirds. They put 4 runs across in the bottom of that third inning and did not get an extra base hit. They wind up getting 4 singles and a walk to bring across those 4 runs in that inning, capped off by a 2-run single from Jax Groshans. And now Passatempo is going to get a couple of words of advice from Hallberg, his third base coach, and dig back in. He's hitting from the right side. He has reached on an error in the first inning and then a ground ball to third in the 4th. On his day, staring in is Connor Higgins, and deals 0-1. It misses low to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Nicely done by Coons to drop the glove between his legs and keep it from turning into trouble. Jimmy Herron has plenty of speed at third base. Bases loaded, 1 out. The pitch. Breaking ball dropped in there for strike number 2. Coons will jog out and talk to Smith. You wonder if maybe he was expecting a breaking ball there. Count is 1-2 now on Passatempo, the rising junior from Medford, Massachusetts. Out of Salisbury High School. And we'll dig back in here. 1-2 is the count. The bases are loaded. It's 2-0 Orleans here at Stony Brook Field in the top of the 5th. The pitch is hit on the ground toward the middle. It's fielded by Higgins. He throws to second for 1 on to first base in time for the double play. So Connor Higgins gets out of the jam. He scooped that baseball up, gave it to Graffinino. It's a 1-6-3 double play, and that retires the side here in the 5th inning. So for the Firebirds in the 5th, just the 1 run on 4 hits, and thanks to the double play, they leave 2 runners on. We're through 4.5 innings of play, halfway through a regulation game here in Brewster. It is 2-0 Firebirds. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan. Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. The score is 2-0 Orleans as Higgins is able to escape trouble and Daniel Lynch is back out for his 5th inning of work. But before we get to all that, let's send it over to the third member of our crew, Aiden Doyle. Aiden?
Thanks, Carter. Well, we have a very special guest in attendance here today at Stony Brook Field. Mike Fox, head baseball coach at UNC Chapel Hill, is here. He's actually seen all 12 of his Tar Heels who are playing in the Cape League this summer in 2 days. He was over at White House Field in Harwich for an Anglers Mariners game yesterday, and then obviously here at Stony Brook Field today. And I asked him, what are you looking for with Zach Hagan, Kyle Datris? What do you want them to leave this summer with? And he says, there's no better summer league in the country. They're automatically going to get better just by being here, associating themselves with this level of coaching and playing.
Chandler Taylor is in the box, and he bunts it down the first base line. It's rolling toward the foul line, and it is going to hit the first base bag, and it's a base hit for Chandler Taylor. That one skipped all the way over to the base bag, and it doinked off of it, so a funny-looking first hit of the ball game for Brewster. The no-hitter has ended here in the bottom, of the 5th inning, and Chandler Taylor, not usually the typical way that he gets aboard through a bunt single, but he's got a big smile on his first base as he's able to get a hit.
Yeah, we're used to seeing some hard-hit baseballs from Chandler Taylor. That one, very, very much a blooper up the first base line, but hey, however you get on.
So here's Infante. He takes the pitch down and in. Infante, a right-handed hitter, back in Brewster. Played with the Caps last season, and it took some time off ahead of the College Home Run Derby, and now is here for his first game as a Whitecap, grounded out in his first plate appearance, and hits this one high in the air to center field. Heron moving to his left. Looks like he's under it here, and he makes the catch. A few steps from the right center field wall, out by that big flagpole, just to the right of dead center field here at Stony Brook Field. And that's the first out of the bottom of the 5th. And here comes Nick Dunn, who will be hitting from the left side against the lefty Daniel Lynch, who has yet to really give up a hard hit today. Has given up some hard contact. We saw Costas give one a ride in the previous frame in the 4th inning. It's the first one that comes to mind. And the pitch to Dunn misses inside to make the count 1-0. Lynch was the opening day starter for UVA and stayed in that Friday night role all spring long his sophomore season. Here comes the 1-0. That's in there for a strike at the knees. Nick Dunn thought that pitch was low. The catcher, Hale, had to kind of move his glove down to field it. But Ronaldo Cockrum says strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner on first base and 1 out. Here comes the pitch. It's a soft ground ball toward the right side. Charging and fielding it is the second baseman Gonzalez. He tags the runner out and throws to first base, but the throw is not in time. Gonzalez with some quick thinking to apply the tag to Chandler Taylor, who is on his way to second, and that will be the fielder's choice that allows Nick Dunn to reach base, and that's the second out of the bottom of the 5th.
Well, that was very close to being a double play, something the Whitecaps just cannot afford right now. They need to get on the board. Daniel Lynch has just been awesome for this Orleans Firebirds, but the Whitecaps need to find a way to crack him here.
It's 2-0 Orleans, bottom 5. The righty Justin Coons digs in and hits this one, fouls it right off of the catcher Hale. Winced for a moment, but looks like he's going to be okay. So Coons behind him, count 0-1. Now, I will admit that I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think if you're going to talk about the guy who leads Brewster in pitchers fouled off, Coons has to be at least in the top 3. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Swung right through that one. Just a bit too fast for him. The count is 0-2 on the Whitecap backstop. Coons was Brewster's first base runner of the game. Reached on a dropped third strike in inning number 3. That's his only plate appearance. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground to third base. Fielded over there by Groshans. He throws across the diamond in time for the out. And that finishes things in the bottom of the 5th inning. So Brewster does get their first hit. A little bunt single that doinks off the first base bag from Chandler Taylor. It's their only hit of the inning. They leave 1 on and they do not score. We're through 5 here in Brewster. It's 2-0 Orleans. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Back at Stony Brook Field, Carter Woodeel and Morris Sheridan here with you. We're starting at the top of the 6th, and Connor Higgins' day is done. He goes 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked nobody, even struck out 1. We haven't seen a walk so far in this game in Stony Brook Field here in Brewster. And Joe Demers is the man whom Jamie Shevchik will call upon to replace him. The numbers so far for Demers are excellent. The righty deals in there for a strike on the outside corner to the righty Kevin Stroshine. There'll be Stroshine, Gonzalez, and Groshans here in the 6th for the Firebirds, and Demers is ready to go again. Here comes the 0-1. It's fouled back to the screen behind the plate. Demers' numbers, this is his 5th appearance of the year, has yet to give up an earned run, so an ERA of nothing. Thrown 5 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, walked 2 and struck out 3. He's been a workhorse out of the pen. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fouled back to the screen once again. That was a fastball up. Perhaps in the zone, perhaps above. One may never know. 0-2 is the count on Stroshine, who has a pop fly and a double to his name in this ball game. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. In there, called, strike 3, outside corner, and Stroshine knew it. He walked straight back to the dugout as that fastball froze him there, and Joe Demers gets his first K of the game.
Well, it's really important for Demers to be efficient here because, as Jamie Shevchik has been saying, this bullpen is a little depleted. There's not a lot of arms to choose from, as we saw J.R. McDermott, a typical starter, going in relief yesterday.
Romy Gonzalez fouls off the first pitch to the right side. Yeah, it caused a reshuffling of the starting rotation. We were sitting there in the booth more thinking, well, has he taken him out? But he just brought him in for an inning and pushed his start back a day, moved Tony Losey up to tomorrow. He'll pitch tomorrow. 0-1 pitch is fouled back again to make the count 0-2. And so it's just that kind of year so far for Jamie Shevchik, and I'm sure he's happy with the 5 clean innings that he saw from Connor Higgins. As I'm sure he likes to say, he gave his team a chance here, but Brewster's still trailing 2-0. Demers deals outside to make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Romy Gonzalez, who hit a hard line drive right to the shortstop Graffinino and then flew out to right field. So he's 0 for 2 today. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from the right-hander. A breaking ball fouled away again toward the right side. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes on Romy Gonzalez. Romy short for Roman for the rising sophomore out of Miami. And by that I mean University of Miami, but also he's a Miami native. Spent this past summer in the Valley League. Here comes the 0-2, or 1-2, excuse me, and it skips outside. Off the glove of Coons into the backstop. 2-2 the count on Gonzalez. As our home plate ump, Ronaldo Cochran, will get some much-needed baseballs from the bat boy. And he'll take a second here to reload. Justin Coons will hand him one as well. The count is 2-2 on the righty Gonzalez. It's 2-0. Orleans ahead in the top of the 6th. Righty to righty the pitch. Misses outside and the count is full. Again, Coons kind of had some trouble keeping track of that one, breaking down and away. Wound up skipping in the dirt and off of his mitt. So 3-2 is the count on Romy Gonzalez. Demers. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, he got him. Back-to-back Ks for Joe Demers. As that fastball was up and Gonzalez went for it. Nice pitch there from Joe Demers to get out number 2 here in the top of inning number 6. So 2 Ks, both on the fastball. And for a guy like Demers, he's not the guy who's going to be lighting up any of the radar guns and the scouts in front of us, but he's got the off-speed stuff and he knows how to work it. He knows how to set up the fastball with some more of his breaking stuff. And so far on the Cape, against some of the best hitters you'll find anywhere, he's done a terrific job. Righty to righty again with Groshans digging in, and he takes a breaking ball outside. See, that was a slow bender that came across and caught the outside corner. Now a fastball is going to look a lot faster. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Fastball and just fouled away. That looked like it got a piece of Groshans in the batter's box. Groshans has a pair of hard line drives up against Connor Higgins. Both of them went out to pretty much straightaway center. And while Hunter Bishop was able to track both of them down out there, still a good sign for Groshans, who came into this game hitting .270 with a .341 on base percentage. He's one of 3 Orleans Firebirds with 2 home runs this season. Still kind of taking a moment. Justin Coons went out to talk to Demirs, and Grosjean's able to walk it off as that ball did get a piece of him in his lower body, but he flashes a smile and is ready to dig in. The count is no balls and 2 strikes. It's 2-0 Orleans. We're in the top of the 6th. Righty to righty the pitch. Breaking ball hit hard. Left side. It's going to get down the left field line and into the left field corner. Costas will scramble over to field it. Grosjean is heading around first base and will head into second base. He slides in head first safely for a 2-out double. So Jax Grosjean gives the Firebirds a runner in scoring position here in the 6th.
Well, if my counting is correct, that's the 4th extra base hit for this Orleans team today. So not just getting on, getting extra bases, which is really killing this Whitecaps team, putting guys in scoring position.
Here is the catcher, Hale, another right-handed hitter against the righty Demirs. Of course, we had a lefty starter on the mound for Brewster. Here comes the pitch. Misses outside. So Kelly Nicholson's lineup card full of righties. Hale struck out looking on a curveball from Connor Higgins his first time and then hit a ground ball to short in the 5th. Checking the runner at second and dealing is Demirs, and it misses low on a fastball. 2-0 is the count. That was just a bit outside, too, it appeared. And so we'll do it again with the count 2-0 on Austin Hale. Hale making his 7th start of the year for Orleans. Here comes the 2-0 from Joe Demirs. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. That was outside. Out in front of that one was Hale. Changed things up, it looked like, did Joe Demirs. 2-1 now the count. Hale hailing from Stetson University, the Hatters out of the Atlantic Sun, one of the more eccentric mascots you're going to find in the college baseball landscape. 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Same pitch, it looked like, just off the outer part of the plate. And took a little bit off, so now the count is even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, a runner on second, and a 2-0 game. Here with the Firebirds on top at Stony Brook Field. In the top of the 6th. Demirs checks the runner and deals. It's hit hard right through the middle and into center field for a base hit. Rounding third is Grosjean. He is headed for home. The throw comes in from center field, and it is going to be not in time. Safe at the plate. Grosjean's clapping his hands and slaps 5 with Jeff Hopey, who is ready to dig in for the Orleans Firebirds as he comes in safely, just evading the tag of Coons. A nice throw from Bishop in center field, but it's an RBI single for Austin Hale. He moves to second base on the throw, and it's 3-0 Firebirds in the 6th. That's Hale's 2nd ribby of the year, doubling his total. And he stands on second, a chance for the Firebirds to string some more hits together here.
Wearing number 7, the shortstop, University of San Diego, Jeff Hopey.
And it's Jeff Hopey's turn, the number 9 hitter, who singled and scored in the 5th his last time up. He's sending from the left side. Here comes the pitch. It's hit hard on the ground to second base. Nick Dunn will scoop it up and throw to first base for the out, but the Firebirds get a little bit of 2-out lightning here in the 6th inning, and they get the double by Grosjean, and the single from Hale winds up driving him home to add on to their lead. It's now 3-0 Orleans in the 6th inning for the Firebirds. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. We're through 5.5 here in Brewster. It's 3-0 Firebirds over the Whitecaps. You're listening to Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Wadil and Maura Sheridan. Visit the Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bar Zim Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world. It's a great day to be a Tar Heel here at Stony Brook Field in Brewster, Massachusetts. Mentioned that the head coach of the Tar Heels was here, as Aiden Doyle informed us earlier in the ball game. 4 Tar Heels on the Firebirds roster and 2 on the Whitecaps, and one of those 4 Tar Heels is Taylor Sugg, who comes on to pitch here for the Firebirds. Just like Connor Higgins, the starter Daniel Lynch is finished after 5 innings of work. He gives up just 1 hit and no runs allowed. He would strike out 3 and did not walk a batter. So he gives way to Taylor Sugg, who's a right-handed pitcher. He'll face the 9, 1 and 2 hitters for Brewster, and Hunter Bishop starts things off by fouling a pitch off toward the left side. The numbers on Sugg so far this year, this is appearance number 5 for him. Does have 1 start to his credit. ERA is 5.19. And the righty will deal to the lefty Bishop 0-1. It misses outside to make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Sugg's thrown 8 2/3 innings, giving up 12 hits, 3 walks, and 6 Ks. In that time, Bishop struck out swinging against Lynch his first time up, and he takes a pitch low and outside to make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Sugg for the Tar Heels last year was primarily used in situations sort of like this, primarily out of the bullpen. Had a terrific season for UNC. 2-1 pitches a high chopper toward the first base side, rolls foul to even things up. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Sugg had a 1.95 ERA in 27 2/3 for the Diamond Heels this past year. Gave up 24 hits, walked 14, and struck out 18. He shakes off the sign from the catcher Hale, now gets what he likes and deals 2-2 pitch. That's in there for strike number 3. Wow, some excellent movement on that one. Hunter Bishop is yelling at himself as he walks back to the dugout. That one started out up and away and wound up moving right back into the strike zone. Some terrific late movement on that pitch there from Taylor Sugg. Bishop's 2nd strikeout of the ball game, and there's 1 gone.
From the University of North Carolina, 3rd baseman, Kyle.
Now it's Kyle Datras' turn, hitting from the right side, and you have to imagine that pitch was backdoored the lefty hitter Bishop. It's going to be even tougher for a righty hitter like Kyle Datras, who is 0 for 2 today, like many of the Whitecaps. The pitch, breaking ball misses down and away. Just a lot of life from the stuff that we're seeing from Sugg. It's 3-0 Orleans. Bottom of inning number 6. So far, the Whitecap offense has yet to get going really at all in this ball game. Here comes the 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. Only Brewster hit that we've seen, a bunt single from none other than Chandler Taylor to start the 5th inning. Dribbler down the first base line, wound up staying fair all the way up to the bag and giving him a single. That's the only hit for Brewster in this ball game. 1-1 pitch. Misses down and away again. Looked like a very similar pitch there, nicely gloved by Hale behind the plate. 2-1 is the count on Kyle Datras. And here comes the 2-1 pitch from Sugg. It's a ground ball. That one just squirts off of something there from Datras. So 2-2 is the count as the foul ball is recorded. The runs for the Firebirds, I mentioned they've kind of had a tendency to put together big innings. So far, they haven't done that today. 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 5th, and 1 in the 6th. Nico Decolati has 2 runs driven in, had a ground ball in the 1st inning and a single in the 5th, and the 3rd run scored when Austin Hale singled home Jax Groshans. The top half of his 6th frame, the pitch is a high chopper, a slow one, fielded by the pitcher Sugg, and he's going to run all the way to first base himself to retire Kyle Datras. Didn't seem like the first baseman, Passatempo, was a huge fan of that, but he smiles. He knows they got the out as Sugg wound up moving over to his left in the infield grass, and that is the rare 1 unassisted as Datras is retired.
Maybe that was for bragging rights there. Wanted to outrun his teammate, say, look, I'm faster than you. I don't know. That's funny.
Yeah, the UNC on UNC battle. Here's Graffinino digging in from the left side. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of ground balls. The pitch just misses low. The 3rd baseman, Groshans, is in on the infield grass guarding a possible bunt from Graffinino. He's also straying pretty far from the third base line where he is right now. 1-0 is the count. And here comes the pitch. Again, it misses low. 2-0 is the count on A.J. Graffinino, who has a ground ball to first and a ground ball to second today. 2-0 pitch coming along. It's hit high in the air. That's a mile high toward the right side of the infield and heading into shallow right field. Calling everybody off as the right fielder Stroshine, and he makes the catch to retire the side. So a quick 1-2-3 inning worked by Taylor Sugg after he is called upon to relieve Lynch. And we are through 6 innings of play. It's 3-0 Orleans. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball on the Whitecaps Radio Network. Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan.
Top of the order due up for the Orleans Firebirds here in the top of the 7th inning. The Firebirds lead the Brewster Whitecaps 3-0. Joe Demers still on the mound for Brewster. Replaced Connor Higgins. In the 6th inning and allowed 2 hits and 1 run in just 1 inning pitched. Jimmy Herron, the leadoff hitter for the Firebirds, shows bunt and takes it for strike number 1. The 1 swung on and it's hit to Kyle Datris at third base. A high throw from Datris just goes over the head of Julian Infante. So Herron safe at first and a dangerous runner now on board as Lars Newpar enters the batter's box for Orleans.
It's an E5, and that's one of those situations where somebody's speed can kind of induce an error there. I think Jimmy Herron, one of the faster guys you'll find on the Cape, I think Datris knew that, uncorked that with a little bit of reckless abandon, and went over, as you said, the head of the first baseman, Infante. It's tough when you're dealing with the runner as fast as Jimmy Herron is, and he's now in scoring position.
3 errors today for the Brewster Whitecaps, 2 from Datris himself. First pitch to Lars Newpar is hit to Nick Dunn at second. He'll throw it over to first, and Infante is able to stretch and make the out and get the number 2 hitter. But Herron will move all the way to third, again showing his wheel. So now another runner 90 feet away.
Yeah, you could say Newpar did his job there. Just got the ground ball to the right side to move the runner up. And now a chance for Decolati to pin on another run. And Brewster being forced to bring the infield in here.
Here comes Nico Decolati with 1 out and a runner on third. Decolati has 2 RBIs already today, looking for his 3rd. First pitch to him is a breaking ball that misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes to the designated hitter for the Firebirds. The 1-0 is high just above the letters of Decolati for ball 2. Decolati's first RBI was just off of a ground out, brought in the first run in the first inning, and then his most recent RBI was off a base hit single. He'll foul the next pitch out to the netting behind him for strike number 1. 2 balls, 1 strike to the Las Vegas native. Demers behind in the count. The 2-1 swung on and missed from Decolati, so the count evens to 2. The Whitecaps are down 3-0 here at their home field of Stony Brook Field, trying to avoid a 4-game skid. The 2-2. A fastball that catches him looking. So there goes Nico Decolati, a big out. And that's strikeout number 3 for Joe Demers. Still a runner on third, though, but now 2 outs as number 4 batter Steve Passatempo enters the batter's box for the Firebirds.
So you got kind of a fortunate call behind the plate there from Cochran, but those have been going both ways so far in this game. It was still a well-located pitch from Demers.
First pitch to Passatempo is a swing and a miss. Strike number 1 to the first baseman for the Firebirds. Second pitch is outside. Coons had to make a bit of a lunge there to keep that from going behind him and potentially Jimmy Herron getting home. But the catcher out of Gardner-Webb makes the play, so 1 ball, 1 strike to Passatempo. Breaking ball in there for strike number 2. Joe Demers trying to keep the score as it is. His team's down 3 runs in the top of the 7th inning. The 1-2 swung on and miss. So Joe Demers gets out of a jam here in the top of the 7th inning. It's still 3-0 after 6.5 innings of play. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan.
Well, it's the bottom of the 7th inning, and we've got a new pitcher to tell you about for the Orleans Firebirds. Jake Wong replaces Taylor Sugg at the mound for Orleans. Wong's out of Grand Canyon University. That's a WAC conference team. He's had 5 appearances so far for this Firebird squad, 6.75 ERA. 8 innings pitched, allowed 10 hits and 7 runs. Only 6 of those runs were earned. And he'll have to face a tough out in Mickey Gasper. First pitch to Gasper is high and outside for ball number 1. The 1-0 on its way. That one, same spot. So 2 balls and no strikes to the designated hitter for the Whitecaps today, who has had a bit of an off day. Grounded out to third in the first inning and then had a pop-up fly ball to right field for 0 for 2 on the day. Third pitch in for a strike to Mickey Gasper, so now the count is at 2-1. The pitch is outside for ball 3, so Gasper getting ahead, showing his signature plate discipline, trying to get on base for the first time today. The 3-1. That one is right in the corner for a strike, so now the count's full. Gasper didn't quite like that call, but as we've mentioned before, not one for a lot of emotion, so he just steps back in there, and the payoff pitch is a swing and a miss. Mickey Gasper goes down swinging for out number 1, and the Whitecaps just can't seem to get on today.
We talked about Gasper's plate discipline, but he does lead the league, or not the league, but the Whitecaps in strikeouts now. That was strikeout number 16 for him on the season. Hunter Bishop is next with 13 of those, and Trejo's got 13 as well. So he knows the zone, but there it seemed like he might have been thrown off by that call.
Wong pitches his first one to Marty Costas on the outside right corner for ball number 1.
And what I mean is that, you know, obviously this is baseball. We got a human element here on Cape Cod. Not every umpire's call is going to be perfect, and one thing that Jamie Shevchik has been talking about.
The 1-0 is breaking ball that hits for strike number 1.
It's kind of, you know, you're going to get a bad call every once in a while, and players are going to get miffed by it, but you have to reset immediately.
The 1-1 swung on and missed from Marty Costas, so he goes down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the left fielder today. Played right field yesterday for the Whitecaps. 1-2. Swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts in a row to start off his appearance at Stony Brook Field for Jake Wong.
Yeah, now we're into the point where we are seeing this terrific bullpen that has been really one of the key points to this 8-game winning streak that the Firebirds are currently on. They've been putting up a lot of zeros, and we saw it last night at Eldridge Park as well. Still plenty of time for Brewster to rally here, trailing 3-0 in the 7th inning, but they're going to have to start getting runners on base like you were saying, Maura.
It's the bottom of the 7th inning. Nobody on, 2 outs. Brewster only has 1 hit in this game, and it comes from this guy, Chandler Taylor. Takes his first pitch in for ball 1. Taylor had a little bunt on the first base line. The 1-0 swing and a miss from Taylor. So the count evens at 1. Taylor digs in for the 1-1. That one's high outside for ball 2. The Whitecaps are getting out hit. The Orleans have 8 hits in this game, and as I just mentioned, Whitecaps have just 1. They only had 3 hits yesterday. So just a bad string of games for the Whitecaps offense. And Taylor will hit one right to the shortstop Hutby, and that will do it for the 7th inning. Nobody left on, no runs and no hits for the Brewster Whitecaps in the bottom of the 7th inning. We're through 7, and the Orleans Firebirds are still on top, 3-0. You're listening to the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care. Well, another pitching change for the Brewster Whitecaps. Joe Demers is out and Robert Broom is in the game for Brewster. He's faced these Orleans Firebirds before. The first time these two teams met in the very first game of the season on June 14th, Robert Broom came in for relief of Connor Higgins in the Brewster 6-1 win. Not quite the same score right here on July 3rd. The Whitecaps trail the Firebirds 3-0 in the top of the 8th inning. Broom getting set up on the mound, ready for Kevin Stroshine. First pitch to Stroshine, in for strike number 1. So Broom gets ahead against his first batter, 0-1.
I remember that opening night game. Jamie Shevchik told you more straight up that Broom was going to be an all-star. It was kind of surprising at the time.
The 0-1 finds the corner for strike number 2.
But so far he's been throwing those weird breaking pitches coming from that sidearm stance, and he has baffled the hitters that he has faced. A terrific season so far for Robert Broom on the Cape.
An 0.73 ERA for Robert Broom. The 0-2. Almost paints the corner there, but not quite. So that's ball number 1 to Kevin Stroshine. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
The line on Demers, whom Broom is replacing: 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run it was earned, no walks, 4 strikeouts.
The 1-2. That one, a sweeping sidearm pitch that doesn't quite find the strike zone, so 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kevin Stroshine. The Orleans right fielder played AAU ball with Whitecaps catcher/designated hitter Michael Curry. And looks like a check swing there called.
I think they're saying that was strike 3 no matter what. They didn't appeal. Kind of a shake of the head from Stroshine as he walks back, but first strikeout of the game for Broom.
And it looks like this is going to be Ethan Paul subbing in for Romy Gonzalez. Paul wearing number 9 for this Orleans Firebirds team. Broom staring in to Justin Coons as Paul gets ready for his first at-bat. The rising junior digging in for the Firebirds. First pitch from Broom in there for strike number 1.
Boy, we've been seeing a lot of this. He's pitched a lot at Stony Brook Field where we have the chance to really stare down behind home plate and watch these breaking pitches move from Robert Broom. And I think it's still hard for us to track him.
0-1, a swing, and looks like a little bit of a foul there from Paul, so he'll tip it off to Justin Coons. So no balls and 2 strikes as Broom gets ahead in this count. Coons and the ump just trying to get some more balls here. We're in the top of the 8th inning, and the Orleans Firebirds are on top of the Brewster Whitecaps 3-0. Nobody on here for the Firebirds. Broom getting set up at the mound, and here comes the 0-2. That one just barely misses for ball 1. You could hear the crowd kind of gasp a little bit there, but does not get the Broom does not get the strikeout. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ethan Paul. And this next pitch, the 1-2, another ball almost in the same spot right on that left corner. So Robert Broom evens the count at 2. To Paul, who is subbing in for Romy Gonzalez. And here comes the 2-2, a swing and a miss, so 2 strikeouts in a row for Robert Broom to start out this top of the 8th inning.
Robert Broom is up to his old tricks on the mound right now. Tried twice there to Ethan Paul to try and backdoor him, and both times just missing the corner in the judgment of Ronaldo Cochran behind the plate. So he decided to bring that one in, up and in on Paul, and he wound up swinging and missing. Great approach from the sidearm around a Mercer.
Robert Broom rarely disappoints for this Whitecaps team. And now he'll have to face Jax Groshams, the third baseman for the Whitecaps, who doubled in the 6th inning and then ended up coming home. An Austin Hale RBI. First pitch to Groshams is just outside for ball number 1. Kansas Jayhawk getting set up. Batting on the right side today. Here comes the 1-0. That one's fouled right behind him. Almost hit Austin Hale on deck for the Firebirds, but he was able to jump out of the way. So it's a 1-1 count to the third baseman. Nobody on here for Grosh Hands. Calling for time, getting set up. And he'll call for time again, making Robert Broom wait for that 1-1 pitch.
Maybe the first period of extended time we've seen for a while in this game that's moving very quickly here.
It's only 6:35, and we're in the top of the 8th inning. This game started at 5. Here comes the 1-1. That one's high outside for ball number 2. A very hot one, though, here today in Brewster, Massachusetts. Last I checked, it was 86 degrees, and it sure feels like it. Not a lot of wind, which is atypical at Stony Brook Field. The 2-1. A swing and a miss. Nice pitch there. Got the Orleans third baseman for 2 strikes from Robert Broom. Broom now staring in to Justin Coons. Waiting for that 2-2 pitch, and here it comes. And that one's fouled off right towards the dugout of the Brewster Whitecaps on the third base side.
And you wonder, it's interesting to see Robert Broom come in this spot with his team trailing 3-0 here in the top of the 8th. Jamie Shevchik obviously talking to you, saying that a lot of times when he brings in relievers, there's not a ton of choice involved in the decision. It's just kind of who's available, who hasn't, pitched the previous day. Because you'd like to think this is one of his best arms out of the bullpen, and that he might be coming in a high leverage spot. But we'll see. And of course, he's kind of unconventional in the way he pitches, so unconventional usage might go along with that.
The count's still 2-2. Here comes the 2-2 pitch, and that's going to be hit high to third base. Kyle Datris calling it off, and then actually A.J. Graffinino at the final second makes the catch for the third out. So nobody on, no hits, and nobody left on for the Orleans Firebirds, but they're still up 3-0 over the Brewster Whitecaps after 7.5 innings of play. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back. A new pitcher yet again for the Orleans Firebirds. This time it's JT Hinson. He'll replace Jake Wong for the Firebirds. Hinson plays at a junior college called Florida Southern College. And so far in the Cape League, he's been stellar. Has an 0.93 ERA. He'll face Julian Infante. First pitch to Infante is way upstairs for ball 1. Infante is 0 for 2 today in his debut in a Whitecaps uniform. Had a pop-up to left field in the third inning. Second pitch from Hintzman is outside. Hits the dirt for ball 2. And in Infante's second at-bat in the 5th inning, he had a pop-up to center field. A swing and a miss from Infante is good for strike number 1 from Hintzman. JT wears number 32 for the Firebirds out of Old Greenwich, Connecticut. The count 2-1. Here comes the pitch, and that one's low in the strike zone, but good for strike number 2, so the count evens at 2 here for Julian Infante, trying to get on base for the first time in his CCBL career. He'll dig in. And here comes the 2-2. And that one, he has to kind of jump out of the way for, so that's ball number 3. And the count is now full to the Whitecaps first baseman. The Whitecaps down 3-0. Trying to crawl their way back into this one in the bottom of the 8th inning.
And it's an important hitter here to try and get the leadoff guy on with the experienced Infante up.
The payoff pitch is fouled out behind him, so he'll stay alive. Keep these Brewster fans on the edge of their seats. Trying to avoid a 4-game skid is Infante and the rest of this Whitecap squad. The most they've ever lost is 2 in a row. And the payoff pitch yet again. That's a swing and a miss. He got him. Hintzman got the leadoff hitter. So 1 out as Nick Dunn comes up to bat for the Whitecaps. And this team in desperate need of some offense.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of strikeouts. Jake Wong got a couple in that last inning of work. 1 inning allowed, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 Ks. As a whole, the Whitecaps have now struck out 7 times in this ball game.
Nick Dunn batting from the left side. First pitch to him is outside for ball 1. Dunn had a pop fly to left field in the 3rd inning, and then got on a fielder's choice that ended up. And here's the 1-0. And that one's hit straight to first, but gets past a tempo, and so Nick Dunn will get on. We'll see how they score that. Seemed like just a hard hit for Passatempo to knock down, but regardless, the Brewster Whitecaps have a base runner on as Justin Coons enters the batter's box.
Yeah, they're going to score it a hit, which is, I think, a little surprising because Passatempo could have had a play on that ball and tried to backhand it. I guess one thing to consider is maybe he would have had to flip to the pitcher. Hinson covering, he wasn't really there, but it looked like he just slipped on the dirt there. In any case, it's a base runner for Brewster. They'll take it.
Hintzman will now face Coons. First pitch to the Whitecaps catcher is outside for ball 1.
And now this is a big spot for the 8 and 9 hitters for Brewster. You got Coons up, Bishop on deck. They want to make sure to get to the top of the order in this inning.
The 1-0 is whiffed there from Justin Coons to even the count at 1. With 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning, time running out for the Brewster Whitecaps. Waiting on the 1-1, here it comes. That one's outside, and catcher Hale will check up on Dunn at first, but Dunn able to dive back head first and get there safely, so he's still on the bag. And the count's 2 balls and 1 strikes to Justin Coons. Here comes the 2-1. That one's high for ball 3. Coons got on an error today, but then didn't move.
That was that drop third strike play.
Kind of a crazy play there, but didn't mean much for the Whitecaps, and he'll hit a high fly ball, and the second baseman, Paul, is calling everybody off, and he'll make the grab for out number 2. Justin Coons goes down, and now it's Hunter Bishop's chance to potentially move this game along and give the Whitecaps just their second base runner of this inning and potentially get back in this game. They're down 3-0.
And that's tough for Justin Coons. He got a 3-1 pitch, knew he was probably going to get a pitch to hit, and winds up getting under it and popping it up. You could see he was a little bit frustrated after the ball left his bat. An important spot for Bishop with the leadoff hitter on deck.
Hintzman with the first pitch to Bishop is outside on the left for ball number 1. Hunter Bishop has had a rough day, 2 strikeouts for the rising sophomore out of Arizona State. 1-0. That one's high. Misses upstairs. So Bishop's ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes with Nick Dunn on first. But again, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning for this Whitecaps team that is trailing by 3. The 2-0 on its way, and that one's hit foul behind him for the first strike for Hunter Bishop. The Sun Devils struggled a little bit for Jamie Shevchik so far, batting just 171. And he'll hit one, a little chopper, that will get past first baseman Pasatempa, and it looks like he'll be safe. Paul covered for Pasatempa as it went over his head and dropped it off to the first baseman, but Hunter Bishop, he has wheels, he's a center fielder, and he was able to get there on time. So now the Whitecaps have 2 base runners for leadoff hitter Kyle Datris.
And that means that Datris is the tying run with Brewster trailing 3-0. A bit of good fortune there for Hunter Bishop as that one just hopped over the head of Pasatempo. Not much he could do. Maybe if Aaron Judge were out there at first base, he could have snagged it. But a nice effort from Ethan Paul over at second to run over and make the play. It was a very close play at first base. Bishop able to hustle down the line. Now a big spot as a visit at the mound here for the hurler JT Hinson. Kyle Datris coming in 0 for 3, but did have 7 home runs for UNC this past spring. Still looking for his first homer of the Cape League season. And I think we've just seen a signal for a pitching change here, Maura.
Looks like it. Jamie Quinn taking the ball out of Hintzman's hands. And so there will be a pitching change, and we'll tell you who's up next for the Orleans Firebirds. On the other side of the break, stay with us. You're listening to the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network. So it's another UNC Tar Heel at the mound for the Orleans Firebirds. This time Josh Hyatt, who we saw yesterday pitch a perfect final inning for the Firebirds. As Seems like he's Orleans' go-to closer. He has 4 saves so far on the year, looking for his 5th right now, but he'll have to face his teammate Kyle Datris with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning, runners on first and second for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Here we go, top of the order, folks.
So a big spot here for Kyle Datris. It's kind of funny. He's kind of had some time to think about it here as they come in and bring on the pitching change. But as I mentioned, did show some pop this spring. He comes in as the tying run with 2 gone.
Datris digging in for the Whitecaps. Brewster down 3-0 to Orleans. First pitch from Hyatt. Datris will hit it right to third, and that will get out Nick Dunn running to third base. So that will do it for the bottom of the 8th inning. Brewster leaves 2 on off of a couple of hits for the Whitecaps, but it doesn't mean anything because no runs come in, and the Orleans Firebirds are still on top of the Brewster Whitecaps 3-0 going into the 9th inning. You're listening to the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Now, back to Brewster Whitecaps baseball. Here are Carter Waddell and Maura Sheridan.
8, 9, and 1 due up for the Orleans Firebirds in the top of the 9th inning. The last Firebirds at bat of this game, and they're up 3-0 on the Brewster Whitecaps. Robert Broom still at the mound. First pitch to Hale is in for strike number 1. Austin Hale, the catcher today, has an RBI to his name in the 6th inning that drove home Jax Groshans. And he'll hit one right to Nick Dunn at second, who throws it over to Infante, and that's good for out number 1 in this top of the 9th inning.
Great reflexes there from Dunn. A slow roller and was able to backhand it there. A capable defensive play from what is appearing to be the Whitecaps' everyday second baseman moving forward.
Jeff Hopeby, the shortstop, batting from the left side. Now in the game for the Firebirds. Nobody on for the number 9 hitter. First pitch to him is a little too high from Broom, so that's 1 ball. We've seen 3 pitchers for this Whitecaps squad, Connor Higgins being the starter. And the 1-0 is misses again for ball 2. And Joe Demers came in for the Whitecaps, and now we see Robert Broom. Broom entering the game in a tough situation, his team down 3-0. The 2-0 finds its way into the strike zone for strike number 1 to Hopey. Hopey has a single to his name. He also came in off of and he'll foul this next ball off high for strike 2. Two balls and 2 strikes to Jeff Hopeby. Nobody on, 1 out. Robert Broom with the release, and that one is high and upstairs for 3 balls and 2 strikes. Count is full.
Some nasty movement on that one from Robert Broom. It was up, but it started out well outside and wound up over the plate.
Broom a side armor, and here he goes with the release, and he'll get him looking. And Hopi Nui just turned around and walked away. Barely even saw that pitch come in. And that's good for a strikeout to make it 2 outs in this top of the 9th inning for the Brewster Whitecaps.
You know, it's funny. You look at Robert Broom's repertoire, and he looks like anything but a strikeout pitcher, the way that he handles himself on the mound, the slow pitches that he throws. But he's got more strikeouts than any other Whitecap on the team now. He's just taken the team lead over Tony Losi. That was his 19th K of the year. Really has been an impressive season for Robert Broom.
And here comes leadoff hitter Jimmy Herron, a guy that's been dangerous on the base paths for this Orleans Firebirds squad. First pitch from Broom misses outside for ball 1. But he's got on twice today in kind of an interesting fashion. The first was an E6 off of an error, Graffinino. That was in the 3rd inning. Then he got a double in the 5th. And strike number 1 thrown from Robert Broom to even the count at 1. And then in the 7th inning, he got on again on an error from Kyle Datris. So kind of a lucky day for Jimmy Herron. 1 ball and 1 strike as Broom, the pitch is fouled off by Herron into the netting behind him.
Yeah, lucky day. Or I'm sure Jimmy Herron would say, hey, I got on base 3 times. You know?
Yes.
That's baseball.
An unlucky day for the Brewster Whitecaps defense. 3 errors for the Whitecaps, 2 coming at third base from Datris. And this one popped up, and it's Graffinino calling everybody off, but it will actually be done. That makes the final out of the 9th inning. So the Brewster Whitecaps go into the bottom of the 9th with a lot of room to make up. They're down 3-0 to the Orleans Firebirds. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network. Welcome back to Stony Brook Field, where we are in the bottom of the 9th inning. 2-3-4 due up for the Brewster Whitecaps, in desperate need of a rally here to avoid a 4-game skid. AJ Graffinino digging in for the Whitecaps. His team is down 3-0 to the Orleans Firebirds. First pitch from Hyatt is low in the dirt for ball number 1 to the Washington Husky and 2-time Brewster Whitecap. The 1-0 is in for a strike for AJ Graffinino. So 1 ball and 1 strike to the number 2 hitter in this Whitecaps lineup. The pitch is outside for ball 2. Graffinino struggling today, 0 for 3. In the 1st inning, he grounded out to 1st. In the 4th inning, he grounded out to 2nd. As the 2-1 pitch is on its way. And that one hit right to Ethan Paul at 2nd. He'll get it over to Passatempa in time to get AJ Graffinino out. And this Orleans Firebirds team 2 outs away from ending this game and going into a 9-game win streak. But they'll have to get past Mickey Gasper. who's really been one of the huge stars for this Whitecaps team in terms of clutch moments. But he has nobody on and 1 out. And first pitch to him is low and in the dirt. Mickey Gasper took that one for ball 1. Gasper is also 0 for 3 today. The 1-0 is low, just below the knees for 2 balls and no strikes to Gasper. Gasper grounded out to third in the first inning, popped up to right field in the 4th, and struck out in the 7th. He'll swing and miss on that next pitch to make the count 2-1. And talking to Jamie Shevchik yesterday, he said it can't always be Mickey Gasper and Graffinino. They got to get other guys involved in this offense. The 2-1. That one misses outside as Gasper goes ahead in the count 3-1. Hyatt with the release on the 3-1, and that one just misses for ball 4, and the Whitecaps have a runner on. Here comes Marty Costas with just 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Well, Costas has a pair of home runs in the final inning of ball games. Of course, they both came in the 8th inning. One was in a doubleheader in extra innings against Katuitt, and one was a couple of days ago when Darkness canceled the 9th. One of them was a walk-off, one just closed the gap. Perhaps the latter here?
First pitch to Costas is low and outside. And that Mickey Gasper walk was the first one we've seen all day from either side. Pitchers for both teams really finding the strike zone today. The 1-0 is low and out. Nice take there from Marty Costas. He thought about it and then checked himself.
And this is important because Chandler Taylor is standing on deck. And we've got a righty hurler on the mound.
The meat of the Whitecaps order is up. I guess the guys that Jamie Shevchik wants, but again, 1 out here and down 3-0. As Costas will talk to third base coach Smythe as Austin Hale has a little chat with Hyatt. Marty walking back into the batter's box, getting ready for the 2-0. The pitch is outside for ball 3. Actually, that was just inside for strike 1. So it seems like the conversation worked between the catcher and the pitcher. 2 balls, 1 strike. And the 2-1 is in for another strike, so quickly.
And that's tough because now that was a strike called on the inside corner to Costas there on that first pitch to the righty, and then on the outside corner, and both of them a little bit tough, but both nice location from Hyatt on the mound.
The 2-2. A nice curveball there. Gets Marty Costas looking. So just 1 out away are the Orleans Firebirds from making this 9 in a row. But Mickey Gasper's at first, and Chandler Taylor enters in a tough position.
And so Costas unable to allow Taylor to come up as the tying run. That was a nice slow breaking ball from Hyatt on the mound after painting the corner a couple of times.
First pitch to Taylor is low in the dirt for ball 1. Hyatt looking for his 5th save of the year, excuse me. The 1-0 to Taylor is again low, almost in the dirt on that one. So 2 balls and no strikes to Chandler Taylor. The Whitecaps down 3-0, the bottom of the 9th. A swing and a miss from Taylor. Mickey Gasper was going, and they got him. A nice pickoff there from Austin Hale. Mickey Gasper trying to steal second, and that will do it. The Whitecaps are officially on a 4-game losing skid. And on the other side of that, the Orleans Firebirds have now won a stellar 9 in a row.
Well, that was very strange. It looked like Gasper was going to take second on defensive indifference, but the defense was not indifferent. A terrific throw behind the plate from Hale, and Gasper couldn't believe it when he'd been tagged out. A base running mistake. That's a tough way for this ball game to end for Brewster.
Very interesting ending. A pickoff play there from Austin Hale of the Orleans Firebirds to end this game. But the real story of the game was the Whitecaps' offense, or I guess lack thereof. Brewster only mustered up one hit as they turned the scoreboard off on me. As
three hits for Brewster in this ball game.
And that's the same as yesterday. Yesterday they did score a run, but this time no runs as the Brewster Whitecaps fall 3-0 here at home. On the other end of that, though, the pitching for the Whitecaps was honestly, as I'm sure Jamie Shevchuk will say, pretty decent. We saw Higgins, Demers, and Broom get in the game, but the story of the game and of this past two games has been the lack of Brewster offense. Well, we'll take a break. Again, the final score, Orleans 3, Brewster nothing. And when we come back from the break, we'll hear from a player and, as always, Coach Jamie Shevchuk. Stay with us. You're listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.
Don't go anywhere. The Whitecaps postgame show is coming up right after this.
Huge for us. It's huge for the momentum going into tomorrow.
Only on the Brewster Whitecaps Radio Network.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field as the Brewster Whitecaps fall 3-0 to the Orleans Firebirds, and really what turned out to be a very quick game, 2 hours and 5 minutes in what was arguably not a pitching duel, but just very fast work from a lot of pitchers, as we saw Robert Broom just come in the game and pitch absolutely stellar for the Whitecaps, but ultimately the team took a loss 3-0, and I'm sure we're going to hear from Jamie Shevchuk, but it seems like this is the opposite of what happened yesterday. You know, Connor Higgins having a good performance, as it looks like our own Aiden Doyle has Connor Higgins, so we'll hear from him right now as the two waltz over here. Take it away, Aiden.
Thanks, Maura. Here with Connor Higgins, today's starter for the Brewster Whitecaps. Connor, you took the loss in this one, but you didn't exactly get much help from your offense. This is the second time you faced the Orleans Firebirds this year. First time way back on opening night at their place. What did you learn from your first start that went into this one?
Tonight, I wasn't really looking for that strikeout pitch. I was kind of looking for that pitch to contact, just put the ball in play. But that's what really, I was not really throwing. I threw a lot of fastballs tonight, just trying to get that soft contact and just put the ball in play really tonight.
Yeah, 48 of your 66 pitches went for strikes. You only had one strikeout, but at the same time, your defense committed 3 errors behind you. How does that attitude change, a mindset change? Got to be a little bit disappointing, a bit of a letdown when those errors happen behind you.
You know, we're in a little funk right now, but these guys, I trust them. This is probably one of the best infields I've ever played with. But yeah, you know, we just got to keep pressing, and we'll be fine. These guys are great players. We're just in a little funk right now.
And offensively, your job is to get hitters out, exploit weaknesses. Offensively, the team's struggling a bit right now. Only 3 hits in back-to-back games against these Orleans Firebirds. Has there been anything you've noticed as a pitcher that maybe they don't as a hitter that can contribute to the lack of offense?
No, we faced some good arms recently, and we're just kind of running into a little saw here. But I feel like tomorrow we're gonna have some good energy tomorrow and come back and get a W tomorrow.
All right, thanks very much, Connor.
Thanks, Aiden. And as Higgins mentioned, 4 pitchers for the Orleans Firebirds and only 3 hits allowed between them. We saw Daniel Lynch start and get the win for the Firebirds, and then Taylor Sugg, the UNC Tar Heel, came in for him, and then we saw JT Hinson, and then Josh Hyatt, who seems to be the closer for this Orleans Firebirds team, getting the save for his squad that has now won 9 in a row. So what do you think this Brewster team can do, Carter, to kind of get out of this funk, as Higgins put it?
Yeah, it's tough because that sounds kind of all metaphorical and very intangible. How do you bust out of a slump? Kind of one of the oldest questions in the book for baseball, because it really does feel like Brewster. I like the way that Connor Higgins kind of said it. You know, he said, "Listen, this is a good infield, this is a good ball club, but we're just kind of not clicking right now." And you know the old saying, winning cures everything. If Brewster can get a couple of bounces to go their way and win a ball game, I'm sure it'll help them get out of whatever funk that they're in. But for now, it's a tough loss to take here in this ball game.
Well, we'll hear what Jamie Shevchik has to say about that. Aiden has Jamie right here on the sideline, so Aiden, take it away.
Thanks, Maury. Here with Coach Shevchik. Coach, 4th loss in a row, 2nd one in a row to these Orleans Firebirds. 2nd game also in a row with just 3 hits. What have you noticed offensively with this team with the lack of offense in back-to-back games?
Tired. They're really, really tired. A lot of lackadaisical, some bad at-bats. You know, when you lose 3-4, it's hard to get back into the win column. You feel like you're drowning. So, but, you know, I know this, I feel bad for them. This is a long stretch. I mean, nobody should have to go through whatever it is, 15 straight days of playing baseball without a day off. So these kids are still, you know, 19, 20, 21-year-olds that are doing this. I mean, they're not used to doing this in college, and they're not in the pros yet. So this is a tough struggle for them. It's they just got to find it. They got to will their way into playing better baseball, and a lot of things have to align. The pitching's got to be there, and you know we've got to score the runs and get some hits when we need to. You
and I talked before the game about Connor Higgins. You talked about in each succeeding start, fewer strikeouts, more hits allowed. Today, he only had 1 strikeout through 48 of his 66 pitches for strikes. He talked a bit more about pitching to contact, but obviously the defense today let him down a bit, 3 errors in the field. What did you notice from Higgins, and do you think moving forward for his next start, do you want him to continue to pitch to contact or try and go back to that strikeout pitch?
No, he needs to pitch to contact. In this league, you have to make the plays behind him. I don't know if any of the errors cost him runs today. I know he had 3 errors, but today was probably his best pitch game, and that's the way he needs to be. I mean, he can't worry about what's happening behind him. He's got to learn how to develop and grow as a pitcher, and that's only going to happen by throwing strikes and allowing guys to hit the baseball. You're not going to strike everybody out.
The last play of the game, Mickey Gasper was thrown out at second base on a stolen base. Can you just take us through that one? What happened there?
Don't ask me. I have no idea what he was thinking. You know, Chandler Taylor up, Julian Infante up and behind him. I have no clue what that was. It was just stupid baseball.
Tomorrow you play the Harwich Mariners on July 4th. It's the last team that you haven't faced yet. It'll be the first time facing the Mariners this season. Do you know anything about them, scouting report? How do you think, obviously on a 4-game skid now, do you think facing a new, fresh opponent can potentially even contribute more to the mindset of, you know, going in and saying, okay, this is new guys, they haven't beaten us before, we're going to go beat them?
I think the only thing that we know about them is that they're below us in the standings, which means absolutely nothing the way that we're playing baseball, because that can be really flip-flopped here before we even get to our day off. So they have to take advantage of, you know, of every opportunity that we get, both offensively and defensively. And again, nothing is changing. You got to go out there, you got to pitch, you got to score runs. It doesn't matter if you're the last place team in the division or not. Any team can beat at any time.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Aiden. And that might be the first time we've ever heard Jamie Shevchik get mad at Mickey Gasper there. Usually he's got nothing but nice things to say, although everyone's prone to mistakes, but Mickey Gasper got caught stealing on second. Austin Hale threw him out to end that game, but not the only issue for the Whitecaps, but one that will loom in our minds.
Yeah, and I won't exactly endorse the word choice necessarily from Jamie Shevchik, but certainly it was not a good decision from Mickey Gasper. I mean, in that situation, you are not the tying run. It's the 9th inning. Your job is to not get out. And if there's a situation where the defense is completely ignoring you and you want to move over to second base to get a force play out of the equation, then that's fine. But it sure seemed like the defense kept his eye on him. I mean, they were, because they were able to throw him out at second. He's got to be more careful in that situation. And like you said, Maura, that's one miscue in a 9-inning ball game. But it's been that sort of thing for Brewster that's really been hurting them in this losing streak that they've been on. Just the little things have kind of been slow to come by. And as Jamie Shevchik said, being tired, that might be one explanation for it.
The Whitecaps have 2 more games before they get a day off, in which they would have played 17 in a row. So you got to believe they're just exhausted. Most teams have had at least one day off due to rainouts in the beginning of the season. Whitecaps have had to play 17 in a row. That's a tough stretch for any team. But what can this team do to bounce back and hopefully take home a July 4th and 5th series against these last-place Harwich Mariners?
Well, I think Jamie Shevchik said it best, where they have to will their way to a win. I mean, they just have to tough it out, grind out at bats, make the plays in the field. It's tough when you're going down a long stretch like this, and I'm sure Harwich is going to be hungry to go get a win, at their home ballpark on July 4th to go in and be able to please their fans. They're going to get a big crowd for that game, I'm sure. And it's just going to be a matter of whether they're going to be able to do it. And we'll see. Tony Losi's going to be on the mound for Brewster. Got to start pushed up a day. He's always a fun guy to watch, and we'll see how he can handle that situation. It's going to start with him.
So Orleans, with the win, moves to 13-6. They're well ahead in the East Division. Meanwhile, Brewster drops to 8-10-1 on the year, with that one tie coming in at YD. So tomorrow the Whitecaps are on the road. Not too far down the road, though. They'll be taking on Harwich at 5:30. And as always, you can tune in here on the Whitecaps Radio Network for that game. But for now, we'll say goodbye. The Brewster Whitecaps now on a 4-game skid. They fell 3-0 to the Orleans Firebirds. From Maura Sheridan, Carter Woodeel, Aiden Doyle on sidelines, Koki Riley always with the great game stories. That's it for us today. Again, tune in tomorrow at 5:30. Thanks for listening to the Whitecaps Radio Network.